welcome, hello, and welcome to today's online dialogue hosted by Rails to Trails Conservancy's Trail Nation Collaborative. I'm Yvonne Mwangi. I'm the Trail Resources and Planning Manager here at Rails to Trails, and I will be your host today alongside my esteemed colleagues Tom Sexton and Kim Chesser. Our topic for today is Trail Funding Unpacked, Navigating Resources for Sustainable Maintenance. Today's conversation will give us an opportunity to share how you all are currently funding maintenance of your trails, as well as highlighting more recent opportunities to fund trail maintenance under the Federal Transportation Alternatives Set-Aside Program. We are hoping that by the end of this time, you will not only have learned something new, but you will also have made a connection with a fellow practitioner and also grown your network. So a little bit about that Trail Nation Collaborative. The Trail Nation Collaborative is a nationwide peer learning community that brings together leaders, advocates, and professionals from across disciplines to work together to establish and advance connected trail systems and active transportation networks across the country. To date, we have over 7,000 people signed up for the collaborative. The collaborative provides proven tools, methods, and resources, including the Trail Nation playbook. And combined with RTC's expertise from our Trail Nation projects and beyond, as well as that of you, our network of partners across the country, we come together to find solutions to challenges and barriers, working hard to accelerate the development of these connected trail systems. This opportunity is free and open to all. And we welcome professionals and advocates in the trail and active transportation community, as well as adjacent fields. This year, a primary focus of the collaborative is on the implementation of federal funding under the Bipartisan Infrastructure Law. This is the through line for this and our upcoming webinars and online dialogues to encourage and assist communities to take advantage of this once-in-a-generation funding for trails and active transportation. Now, before we can get started, let's take a minute to review the structure of today's session, as it's a little bit different from our regular webinars. This is the first Trail Nation Collaborative online dialogue of this year. We have 75 minutes. We will be on here for up to 75 minutes if we need it. We'll have two short presentations, one by Tom, one by Kim. Each will be followed by a 15-minute breakout session where folks can connect with their peers and discuss shared innovations, ideas, and challenges. We'll then all come back together for Q&A and a large group discussion at the end. So we encourage you to take advantage of this highly interactive session. As with all of our Trail Nation collaborative activities, we want to provide you with plenty of time to interact with each other. So this means the chat will remain open and attendees are encouraged to engage in the chat box before and after breakouts. Now, while the chat is open and enabled, my colleagues on the call are filtering out questions for our large group discussion at the end. So please feel free to add those questions to the chat as we proceed. If you have specific technical assistance questions for us, you can also follow up with an email after today's session. The email will be dropped in the chat. To make this easier, please update your name on Zoom to include your name, the state you reside in, and your organizational affiliation. You can see how mine is formatted at the bottom of my video. We are encouraging folks to keep their cameras on so we can all see each other, but please stay muted until we move into breakouts. We will be recording today's session, mostly for our own notes, and we'll only be publishing a recording of the presentation portion of today. We have a number of RTC staff on the call, and they'll also be in the breakout rooms, mostly listening and taking notes. We hope that this will allow us all to speak more freely in the breakout rooms and the large group discussion portion as we work together to address shared challenges. And at the end of today's session, you'll be prompted to take a short survey. We will really appreciate if you do that, take a few moments and share your thoughts and feedback with us. So let's get into it. Kim Chesser is our state agency advocacy specialist, and she'll be providing an overview of the transportation alternatives programs, new maintenance funding eligibilities under bill. We will hear from her after our first breakout. Right now, though, I'm going to turn it over to Tom Sexton, the Northeast Regional Director. Tom will spend some time providing some context to today's discussion. We'll then go into our first 15-minute breakout session discussing the current state of play, a chance to share with your peers the innovations and challenges of your current approach to funding trail maintenance. Tom will also be moderating the rest of this exciting session. So take it away, Tom.
Thanks, Yvonne. Good to see everybody. Before we begin, let's do a quick poll to see who's with us today. On the poll that pops up on your screen, please select the role that best represents the kind of work that you do. When RTC was founded in 1986, we counted about 250 known rail trail miles. Since then, we have seen that figure grow to almost 26,000. I bet next month we'll go over that. And of those are a subset of, rail trails are a subset of the over 40,000 miles of multi-use trails that we know of and have published in our trail finder called Trail Link. We were also tracking 150 different trail networks across the country. As the demand for trails grow, some trails are getting close to hitting their life cycle. These maturing systems need to be properly maintained and updated to continue producing the economic, health, and environmental outcomes our communities depend on trails for. At the same time, we face significant challenges ahead with climate change and the resulting increase in natural disasters, which are causing major damage to our trails due to flooding and wind. Yep, the need is clear, yet we've heard from hundreds of trail managers that finding the funding to properly maintain trails continues to be a challenge. Part of that is related to the fact that depending on who you speak to, maintenance is often defined differently. Here are the definitions that we will use today for our discussions. First is routine management. This is basic, regular, scheduled tasks performed at least once a year. So these could be, of course, mowing, which is you do many times a year, vegetation management, trash pickup, graffiti, and always maintaining your drainage infrastructure. Life cycle. This is mostly the hardscape components of your trail, the repaving, amenities, signage, et cetera, et cetera. And then there's these major events I spoke about, weather events, natural disasters. These are unplanned, sometimes unforeseen. We might even start to call these periodic. And some folks are even sharing with me that, geez, it's become kind of routine. So that's one thing we have to get around to address. Another challenge lies in the ability to track maintenance costs accurately. This is an important piece of making the case for maintenance funding, and it establishes a baseline. RTC provides a worksheet linked to our maintenance page to help capture the routine costs. Again, those performed at least once a year. We encourage you to explore this and our other resources, and these will be copied in the chat. Yes, thank you. As the RTC lead on maintenance, please reach out to me if I can be of any assistance. We are now fortunate to have Transportation Alternatives, TA, as an expanded source of funding trail maintenance. And my colleague, Kim, will update you on that shortly.
Welcome back, everyone. My name is Kim Chesser. I'm the State Agency Advocacy Specialist, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit today on the maintenance funding overview. So I'll talk to you about the Transportation Alternatives Set-Aside Program and the Recreational Trails Program. Transportation Alternatives is the largest federal source of funding for trails. and about 95% of it goes to bicycle and pedestrian projects, including rail trail conversions, trail reconstruction, and safe routes for non-drivers. Other eligibilities include preservation of historic transportation facilities, like train depots, and stormwater mitigation. These programs are generally managed by the State Department of Transportation, and then the recreational trails program is a set aside of the transportation alternatives, historically the source of federal dollars for maintenance, and those are generally managed by the state conservation agencies. So under the bipartisan infrastructure law, the guidance that's come out through the Transportation Alternatives Program, that there is now an eligibility to use TA funds for trail maintenance. And I want to share a little bit of information with you about that. So what are the eligibilities under transportation alternatives and RTP? So essentially the guidance is that if it's an eligible maintenance project under RTP, it's eligible under transportation alternatives. So routine, life cycle, and major events. This includes trail maintenance and restoration, development and rehabilitation of trailside and trailhead facilities, purchase and lease of equipment for construction and maintenance, and construction of new trails, acquisitions of trail corridors, and assessment of trail conditions for accessibility and maintenance, and development and dissemination of publications and operations of educational programs to promote safety and environmental protection. So one example of a state transportation alternatives program that has a specific category for maintenance, it is in Montana. They have a pavement preservation category that 10% of their transportation alternative funds are dedicated to pavement preservation projects. So that's an example of where you can use TA funds for maintenance, where it's an actual eligibility category there. Someone in my breakout room earlier, we were just talking about West Virginia, and they are using some transportation alternative funds as well for some maintenance there.
There's so much more to be said about when it comes to maintenance, and we will continue to provide space for these kinds of discussions. We hope you have found this helpful and given you a chance to connect with some of your peers across the country. If you are interested in more ways to engage with the collaborative, we have a few upcoming events.